And we can go ahead and get started. So thank you all for coming. I will keep an eye on chat. If I don't answer your question right here, it's because I know we're probably going to get to that content in a little while. Feel free to ask it again when we get to that content. I'm pretty good at keeping an eye on chat, but it's also we have quite a bit to cover the next few hours. So I'm more likely to respond to your questions if it's not a case something, it's not a case about a special population. We'll be able to get to that. And like you'll see, I do free consultations twice a month that you can come to and get consultation on your Flash clients. So we're going to teach this for 2 hours. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll come back. We'll practice this as a group. Okay. And I'll lead you through a group Flash. So when we're doing the resourcing, it's important that you do the resourcing because it's different than other resources, and the resourcing really is needed for you to be able to do Flash well, at least this version of Flash well. So awesome. Okay, shall we get started? Page 2. It's a little bit about me first. I'm Tom Zimmerman. I'm a therapist in Ohio. I'm an EMDR trainer and consultant. I do a lot of work at the intersection of really, really complex trauma and EMDR therapy and Flash. And I'm starting a research nonprofit here in Cleveland in the next month or two to really do some what I hope is pretty important work in understanding working mechanism in both EMDR and Flash and other things through a predictive processing lens. We'll talk about predictive processing in a little while. So I'm pretty busy at that intersection of complex trauma and EMDR and other transformational trauma therapies. So good, page 3. So what this training does is it shows you how to do the core steps in this particular approach to Flash, how to do them well, how to do them reliably, predictably, consistently with many, many clients, how to figure out when something's not going well, how to intervene when something's not going well, and how to get your client back on track. Yep. So Flash itself emerged about 9 years ago now from an EMDR therapist named Phil Manfield. And Flash emerged in a very specific, like cultural context and a very specific research context. And it was understood as a way, Flash was debuted as a way, I'd almost argue as a way to help soothe the very rocky marriage between really complex trauma and EMDR therapy. And the Flash isn't the first one to do that, right? I mean, you know, RDI, attachment, resourcing, and subsequently parts work, they're all different versions, right? Different versions of trying to do a similar thing. So Flash emerged as a way to take some heat out of a memory so that you could go into that memory in EMDR therapy more tolerably. Okay. So, and again, if that's what Flash was, meaning it took heat out of memories but didn't reliably resolve them, that'd probably be worth coming to a training for. Because who wouldn't, if you're an EMDR therapist particularly, who wouldn't want to go in a memory at 1, 2, 3 rather than 8, 9, 10, right? But even as I say that, doesn't that sound weird? Doesn't it? I mean, what type of resource can take 2/3 of the heat out of a memory? Doesn't that sound weird? Breathing doesn't do that. Calm scene doesn't do that. Attachment resources don't do that. What kind of resource? So, so I think what we found is that the reason Flash didn't reliably, predictably resolve memories in the beginning is because we were still learning how to do it well. And then once you have models for understanding how to do it well, Then when Flash fully resolves memories, and it does in this version of Flash, it's designed to help your clients fully resolve memories 95% of the time in a single session. And that's a pretty remarkable claim that I've been making for 4 years and doing trainings. And nobody's told me, nobody said this is a lie, lie, lie. Because if you're not seeing that, come to consultation because there's something a little bit off. So Flash makes the resolution of individual memories largely non-eventful. Okay, including big ones. But as you'll see, we're not going to start there. We're going to start with little bitty ones and ooch our way up because Flash requires two non-intuitive tasks. At the center of Flash is two non-intuitive tasks. Okay, so the first of those non-intuitive tasks is we're going to look at the memory blindingly fast. Right? Really, really, really fast. And whatever you're thinking, if you haven't done Flash or haven't done a Flash training before, whatever you're thinking is way too slow. Does it make sense? It's so fast that we're getting one frame, one syllable, one piece, one little bitty, tiny, tiny aspect of it at a time. Okay. So if in the memory, someone's father's like, you're so stupid, right? We're just getting this one. And even as I say that, doesn't that sound not satisfactory? Does that make sense? Doesn't, I mean, isn't there like, but I feel like if we're going to do this work, I need to catharsis it. I need to like lose my shit a little bit over it. You know what I mean? I need to like, it needs to like flood my body. It needs to like, that way I know I'm really getting in touch with it. What we're doing in Flash is we're cutting things into paper thin slices. Does that make sense? Another metaphor is imagine that. Now, this is the key. This is a key part. So if you have questions about this, let me know. Imagine this is the memory that we're working on. It's a beanbag, okay? This memory as a whole stays in your brain where trauma is. And we don't bring the whole memory into working memory. We bring one bean of it at a time into working memory. And you're like, how do you do that? A trauma, isn't it true that trauma, those of you old enough to remember Seinfeld, trauma enters the room like Kramer. Does that make sense? You never see Kramer like slowly. No, he's always just exploding into the room, right? So what that means is, even with Kramer, we have to close the door the instant we open it for him so that only a little pinky finger of Kramer gets in the door. And that's not what he wants to do, and that's not what we want to do. So that's what I mean by not intuitive. Okay? But as you see, we're going to leverage these two non-intuitive things in a way to let your clients heal without distress and with remarkably little risk of them decompensating. Okay. So first, the memory as a whole stays in your brain where trauma lives, and we only bring a tiny piece of it into working memory at a time. So we're used to thinking about a memory being like a bowling ball. It's either in working memory or it's not. It's almost like we're either touching it or we're not. But in this, what a memory is learning. And what we're touching is a tiny, tiny piece of learning, a tiny, tiny piece of experience of the generative model that you have in your head, of everything you've been through, a little bitty, tiny slice of it. We're bringing that into working memory, and then we're pushing it out of awareness. And you'll see this is one of another of the counterintuitive things, because we've assumed once you activate trauma, you have to stare at it the whole time. Well, if you're staring at something the whole time, do you know what it's doing? It's growing. It's bringing other pieces in, and that's not what we're trying to do. So we bring a tiny piece of the memory to working memory where it's going to stay there for a while, because that's what happens with memory content that we bring into working memory. And then we push it out of our awareness, but it's okay. Your brain still has to make predictions about it because we brought it into working memory, and your brain's in the black box of your skull. It just knows something's been brought into working memory. I have to try to make sense of it. And you know what is coming in your sensory state? The other disconfirming things, which is puppies. Cute little cuddly puppies jumping around and wrestling with each other, or kittens, or bubbly hot pizzas coming out of the oven. So we're micro-activating trauma so small that you don't really have a catastrophe in your body. And if you do, we're going to use one of the resources to get it out of your body. So in this version of Flash, we do not push into distress at all, period. We use one of our resources to deal with that distress. We do not push into distress at all. So we microactivate a little piece of the memory, bringing it into working memory, push it out of awareness. We're either going to go like this to send it away, or we're going to put it in a container and send it away. And then you're going to have back to back to back to back to back experiences that show your brain experientially that little piece of the memory isn't happening right here, right now. It's not happening in your sensory state, and it's not happening in your affective state. And you know what you need to do to make a little bitty piece of memory over? Is you have to have a corrective sensory, present-based sensory experience to do that. Does that make sense? So we're leveraging, as with every transformational somatic therapy, we're leveraging present-based sensory experience to update, not the memory, a little bitty tiny piece of the memory at a time. That it's not over, it's not happening here. Puppies are. Bubbly hot pizza is. Okay? So your client is sitting or dancing or whatever they're doing, right? They're in a pleasant scene nearly the whole time they're doing this. That is mind-blowingly non-intuitive. We're so used to trauma recovery being god-awful that we can't imagine it when it's not. And it's one of the biggest problems in teaching Flash. If this were a pill, it would be easier to sell times 1,000,000,000 than this being a therapy. There's not enough distress in it for therapists to believe it's real, even when clients say that memory is experienced by my nervous system for the first time ever as completely over. So even when therapists see this over and over and over, and when I started doing Flash, I had to see it 70 times in a row, go to zero, 70 times in a row before I realized, wait a minute, this isn't a resource. This is actually reprocessing trauma. But you can't do in Flash what you normally do in therapy, and it's going to go well. Your experience in Flash needs to be different. If we're doing two non-intuitive things, we have to do those two non-intuitive things. Okay? And we have to learn how to do them well, including showing clients how to micro-activate a bad memory. That alone is a skill, an important one. Okay? All right, page 4. Again, I'm going to put a few people have joined. I'm going to put the treatment guide in chat. It's the same file. I'm going to put it in chat. Page 4. Look at what is bold in that summary of the 7 steps. Develop a container, develop a calm scene, identify the memory that we're going to work on, focus only on the calm scene. We're going to be in our calm scene, and then every 5 seconds, I'm going to say the word blink. And when I say the word blink, you blink your eyes for half a second one time or a couple times quickly, okay? And you go right back into your calm scene. We're going to talk about what's going on there in a minute. And then after that, we look at the memory lightning fast. Language for that is very quickly think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. They let you know it's gone. We go back to step 4. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Okay, we do that loop. Calm scene, lightly activate, contain, calm scene blinks. Lightly activate, contain, calm scene blinks. We do that loop until the client, it's taking longer and longer for them to find what's distressing in the memory. It's almost like you leave the door open and you don't even see Kramer outside the door. Does that make sense? So then we know it's safe to walk into the hallway. Does that make sense? And we'll look behind furniture and there's a piece. So once it's taking longer and longer to find what's distressing and the client's having a hard time finding what's distressing in the memory when looking at it quickly, then we start playing the bad memory like a little piece of video. And then the moment the first piece of distress comes, we catch it and we contain it. Okay. And then we calm scene with blinks. We go, so for most of this, we're in a step 5, step 4 loop, and then we're in a step 6, step 4 loop, where we're just digesting each piece of distress that is like the debris that remains in this memory. And we're going to do that until you can play the whole memory and there's no distress on any channel. Okay, so that step 6 comes out of Ricky Greenwald's version of Flash, where you really do want to just clean out all debris. And that step 6 is roughly the equivalent of phases 5 and 6 in EMDR therapy. We don't focus on beliefs because beliefs can be activating. But the punchline is Flash, when you do it well, fully resolves memories. Do you know what a fully resolved memory means? Is that how you think about yourself and the world has shifted in a more adaptive direction every single time. If not, there's more work to do. Okay, so if we inquire about beliefs, we're going to inquire about them at the end. Okay, because we're trying not to bring the whole memory into working memory, and that's difficult. Let's run through our steps a little bit slower. Step 1. Remember when I said the stress in the memory? The stress that we activate is always moving away from you. If it's sitting in your body, remember how I said we want your nervous system to reach the conclusion that that little piece of the memory isn't happening right here, right now? If it's happening in your body, it's happening right here, right now. So we're going to get such a small piece, bring it into working memory. We're going to put it in a container, or we're going to use a motor movement. We're going to like send it away. Does that make sense? We're going to use a hand to send it away. And the hand movement sending it away sends the message. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not trying to make sense of it. I'm not definitely not noticed. So let's get the big punchlines out of the way first. Flash, this version of Flash is not those of you that um, I'm near Cedar Point, which is an amusement park. So we had this ride called the Raptor, or like this, the main big major roller coasters. And then you have the little Mighty Mouse, which is this thing that like 8 and 9-year-olds can ride on, right? So Flash is not the Mighty Mouse to EMDR therapy. Does it make sense? It's not an orange mandarin orange. Does it make sense? It's not. It's if EMDR is an orange, Flash is a kitten, right? They're like completely separate things. There's nothing that understanding EMDR will help you in understanding Flash, and vice versa. Does that make sense? There's nothing about an orange that's going to let you understand a kitten, and vice versa. So, so, um, so good. Let's get that out of the way. In this version of Flash, there's no bilateral, right? I don't know what to tell you. I've never done Flash. Not one time in my life have I done Flash with bilateral. And whatever we target resolves 95% of the time. So how can something be an absolutely essential element if you can reliably, predictably do it all day long, 19 out of 20 times, and it works perfectly without it? But EMDR therapists are like, I love my bilateral. I'm like, orange kitten, orange kitten. Bilateral makes perfect sense in EMDR therapy. It doesn't make a lot of sense in Flash. People's like, I love my bilateral. I'm like, some people love Yankee Doodle. You can have your client hum Yankee Doodle, but it's not going to help them find their way into the pleasant scene, which is what's healing them. So we'll talk about working mechanism in a minute. So good, we develop a container because all of the distress that we just brought into working memory is going to go in your container and go out of awareness. Why? Because we need to send it out of awareness so that you're not thinking about it, feeling it, noticing it, trying to see what it connects to. Again, our goal in each round isn't to process the memory, it's to process one little bean of that memory at a time. And then the beans add up on the other side as a fully resolved memory. And then when we're walking through the video, we're shaking our bean bag and making sure we didn't leave any beans in there. Make sense? And then we're processing any debris that we left in our bean bag. And then we have a fully resolved memory on the other side. One nearly painless slice at a time. Okay? Good. So step one and step two is where we develop two core resources. One of them is container. And those of you, there's probably two or three people here that really struggle visualizing. Who are you? Who are my people here that struggle visualizing? Anybody here? No? We're going to teach you anyway because you need it, because you're going to have clients that struggle visualizing. Y'all are visualization ninjas. Okay. So, yeah. Really quickly in chat, can you do Flash if you're not EMDR trained? That's why I started doing these trainings 4.5 years ago, is because then you had to be EMDR trained to do Flash. And I'm like, that is not right. Because you can't say this is a reliable, predictable, easy way for people to heal and only give it to people who already have a transformational trauma therapy in their toolbox. That was not right. That's since changed. Yes, I will train any therapist in Flash. I will train any therapist trainee in Flash. We should, if I'm right about what Flash is, we should be teaching this to our children and our grandparents, and for goodness sakes, our parents. Does that make sense? Because they need to find, we need to find ways that are tolerable for people to heal. So, okay, we're going to develop the calm scene. The calm scene, oh, first, container, the two resources. The first two resources in step one are container. And there's another resource called ShopVac, where if you're a somatic practitioner, you may not like this. I don't care. Your client's going to be able to heal without distress and without really much risk of decompensation. If you've been a therapist long enough, you need that tool. So I'm also a somatic therapist. I'm working with my clients to help them get in touch with their bodies and notice what's happening in their bodies. But sometimes they just need to get on United Airlines and fly across the country today. Does it make sense? We can't like wait to build them a car. They just need to, sometimes you just need to heal from something today. And Flash lets you do that. But if the stress is in your body, that's a problem. If the stress, not your baseline, many of your clients, most of you with really complex, anxious clients, their baseline's at least an 8 out of 10 all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what just got worse when you thought about that memory. That's what's got to go in the container. So don't think that your clients have to be relaxed before we do Flash. No, they just can't be flooded with this memory before we do Flash. Right? So there's a resource that lets you vacuum distress out of your body, the distress that comes from just this memory. Okay, quickly vacuum it out of your body. And then the ShopVac canister becomes your container and then it goes away. Okay, so those are half of our resources. If you're like, my clients can't do that, I've worked with clients with extreme trauma who, if not ShopVac, will find some accommodation to get the stress out of their body quickly, including showing them how to microactivate even faster so that there's less to get. Now, step two, calm scene. If you're going to be in step four in your calm scene, for most of the session, we need to develop it. Okay. And again, I'm going to have you put in chat. So this is, remember, orange kitten. You're like, I have a calm scene. It's in a visualization. I'm like, you have a calm scene for EMDR therapy. This calm scene is completely different. Remember, kittens, right? Kittens, orange, completely different. Another way to say it, just to really spoil the metaphor, you have multiple things in your bathroom that have bristles. If you're using them for separate things, they deserve to be separate objects. Does that make sense? So let your EMDR container be your EMDR container, and let your flash container be your flash container. Let your EMDR calm scene be your EMDR calm scene. Let your flash calm scene be your flash pleasant scene. Does that make sense? So we need to develop it. Put in chat, what's the funniest thing you've seen on any form of media? Have y'all seen the puppies, the puppies that they dress up in costumes? They're carrying the little waiter. They're dressed in tuxedos with the little wine glasses. And what's some of the funniest things you've seen on YouTube or on any type of media in the last few months? They're aging quickly, but you know the AI babies that talk crap about their parents? Those are so freaking funny, right? Um, good. Yes, good. Babies, funny things babies say. YouTube's full of those videos. Okay, good. Babies laughing. Yes, good. So I really want the calm scene to be a YouTube video. Okay. And your client can watch bubbly hot pizzas coming out of the oven. You have to assess for disordered eating. But even as I say bubbly hot pizza, can y'all go there? You see, like, because that for some people, that's a very pleasant state, not for people with celiac, not for people, you know what I mean? So it just depends. So my client's favorite calm scene was an actual deli sandwich that she brought to session wrapped in deli paper. And the first few rounds that were in step 4, she's just opening and crinkling the deli paper. Are y'all going there with me? You see what I mean? And then she's smelling her sandwich. It's weird. But if you're a trauma therapist, you've done weird things we'll do almost anything that's ethical to allow our clients to heal, right? So, yeah, she's cutting up her sandwich, and then she's literally, over the course of this session, resolving a memory of childhood sexual abuse while eating her favorite deli sandwich. And the senses and the smell and the taste and all of that is the disconfirming information that she's using to do it. So if we're going to be in a pleasant scene, if we're going to be in a pleasant scene for most of the session, we need to develop it. And in step 2 is where we're developing it. And so that's a resource in step 2 that we develop. And it's usually just looking at videos that are funny, relaxing, engaging, distracting. And if you love The Office, you can watch highlight clips of The Office. If you love Parks and whatever your show is, your favorite comedian. So calm is the wrong adjective. It can be funny, it can be beautiful, it can be distracting, it can be engaging. It just needs to shift how you feel very quickly. It's only one of the only real requirements of it. Okay. The other resource in step 2 is, and you've already guessed it, we're going to look at this memory lightning fast. What happens if it grabs you and pulls you in it? Right? We need sensory grounding. So our 4th resource is sensory grounding. And we teach that in step 2. And we'll do that together as well. Okay. And now step 3. Do you know what we do in step 3? This is tough. This is one of the hardest parts of Flash. We select the memory See this memory? Out of the whole universe that is in your brain, every single thing you've ever been through, we're going to point but not activate one thing. So in this version of Flash, we work one memory at a time. And if you're telling me about what happens, how much of a bad memory do you have to narrate before it's all in working memory? Not much at all, right? So I really don't want clients to tell me much about the memory at all. You can line up the memory in a prior session. You can do your equivalent of EMDR phase one, where you just get at your targets that you're going to work on the next few sessions in a prior session. And then you work with the client. Say, which of those would you like to work on today? Good. Do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? So this version of Flash is very parts centered. And if you're like, oh no, parts again, everybody's talking about parts. I don't have $10,000 to get trained in parts work. No, I'm using parts in a very generic term. Okay, so you don't have to be trained in parts to inquire, do all parts of you think working on this memory is a good idea today? And if a part is communicating in your belly additional anxiety, we're going to infer that that's a no, right? And maybe we ground and find another place to work. So the questions in phase three are, is there a memory you need to work on today? Or is there a memory we've identified previously that you need to work on today? And we're not going to start with the biggest, baddest monsters first in Flash, because this is non-intuitive. We have to make it intuitive before we get to the big stuff. It's almost like your clients. Imagine a client that you give them a baseball glove, they don't know how to catch. We have to like literally say, take the glove off. Here's a tennis ball. Put your hands like this. I'm going to toss it into your hand. We literally have, and the next session, we say, good, and now here's the glove. Hold it like this. I'm going to toss the tennis ball into your hand, right? We're literally, so do you know what else is non-intuitive? Driving. Do you remember when you were first driving? Did you accidentally hit the gas pedal a little bit too hard? Did you accidentally hit the brake pedal a little bit too? See how it took a while to learn how to work that machine? Flashes like this too. Nobody does it well when you first do it. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice to get it really down. But we're selecting the memory but not activating it. That's easier said than done. And if your client does tell you a trauma narrative and then this happens, before you work on it in Flash, you know what you need to do? You need to get your grounding resource and ground to get the memory far enough away from you so that you can start to bring a little bit of it into awareness. But it's better if you can work with the client not to, on the front end, to tell them we're not talking about the memory before we work on it. Okay, good. So we're selecting the memory in step three, but not activating it. Step four, load up your Calm scene. They're literally pressing play on YouTube. And the video can play the whole time, whether they have a tablet in their lap, or whether you turn around your laptop, or whether they're on their own. They can be on their own phone watching a YouTube video. And through telehealth, telehealth's tough, isn't it? Because if you're working with someone under 40, do you know what I know? Your telehealth window is one of a dozen windows that's already open. They can toggle between you and YouTube effortlessly, can't they? Not even miss a beat. Now, if you're working with someone who's older, and I see there's a few people here who, isn't it weird how you just wake up one day and you find yourself in the older demographic? You just find yourself there during it. So if you're working with someone older, what I ask is, how do you feel about your TV remote? And if they start grumbling, then I say, okay, I'm just going to share your pleasant scene video on your screen with sound. I'm just going to share it for you. Can you hear that? Can you hear the sound good? Yeah. And then we'll handle the pleasant scene. Okay. So the pleasant scene, this is where things get a little bit strange. If looking at the memory blindingly fast wasn't strange, this is a strange part too. So you're watching your YouTube video, okay, for 30 seconds at a time, ish. Do you know what happens if you watch it for 45 seconds? The memory still resolves. Do you know what happens if you watch it for 20? The memory still resolves. There's nothing extra special about exactly 30 seconds. So you don't have to get out your chronometer and go, blink, exactly when it hits 5. It's okay. And when I do this, sometimes I'm going to say blink after 4 seconds. Sometimes I'm going to say blink after 12 seconds. Okay. So you're in your calm scene about 30 seconds at a time. And roughly every 5 seconds, the therapist says the word blink. And when the therapist blinks, you blink your eyes one time for about half a second. It looks like that. Or a couple of times quickly. Blink, blink. Okay. Why'd you name this 4 blinks version of Flash? You got to name something something. And you can blink 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. But if you blink 4 times, you need to do it really fast. I want all the blinks over in about half a second. Why? Because your job after the blinks is to find your way back into the pleasant scene. So, what in the world? Why are we doing all these blinks? In this version of Flash, the blinks split your 30-second calm scene into 6 individual 5-second calm scenes. The blinks are a motor movement designed to interrupt, purposeful, intentional motor movement designed to interrupt your experience in the calm scene to get you out of it for a minute and then you go back in. So the blinks turn a 30-second calm scene into 6 individual 5-second calm scenes. Okay. So, okay, well, if the blinks are doing that, why do we have to blink? Why can't I just look at a doorknob for half a second and then turn back and look at my video? You can. It works just as well, I promise. Okay. So this is a version of Flash without bilateral that works almost all the time. It's a version of Flash where you don't have to blink because it's a version of Flash that understands what's going on here. In this particular version, what's healing you? And what's healing you is the large number of present-based experiences that is showing your nervous system that that little piece of the memory we brought into working memory isn't happening right here, right now, because it's not happening in my sensory system and it's not happening anywhere in my body, in my interoceptive system. Okay? We're literally making each micro slice of the memory over experientially. Okay? And this isn't substitution. We'll see about that. This is experiential learning. Okay? And yeah, we'll get to working mechanism in a minute. We'll get to working mechanism in a moment. So, okay, that's our calm scene. Load up your calm scene. This is the language for it. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Client nods indicates that they're there. We wait 5 seconds roughly, and we say blink. And then the client goes back into their calm scene. Good. Blink. 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 And blink. Give a little pause after to let them have their last 5 seconds in the calm scene. Good. And we ask, how did that go? Meaning, were you able to find your way into the calm scene? And the first time we're in step 4, in any session, we repeat it. Only the first time that you're in step 4, we repeat it. Why? Have you ever done a mindful strategy? Have you ever done a mindful resource that took you a while to get into it? I just want to make sure that you're able to get into it. So I want to repeat it. This is your active ingredient. Being in your calm scene with blinks is what's healing you. And now we're in step 4. We're about to go to step 5. I want to make sure step 4 is really working before we bring trauma into your nervous system, a little piece of trauma into your nervous system. Make sense? So good. Load up your calm scene again. Blink, 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 5 seconds apart. Good. How did that go? Good. Now we go to step 5. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Use your hands, send it away. Right? That's what we're doing, send it away. Right? Let me know when it's gone. When it's gone, good. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Good. Blink, 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 blink. How did that go? Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. Good. Calm scene. Blink, 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 blink. So we're in a step 5, step 4 loop. Lightly activate, contain, calm scene blinks. Lightly activate, contain, calm scene blinks over and over and over and over and over until the client goes, we say, very quickly think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away, let me know when it's gone. And then they go, do you see what that means? That means there's nothing flying out of that memory right now. So what I'm going to say, we don't check a SUDS in this version of Flash. EMDR therapists love their SUDS. The SUDS is about therapist anxiety in Flash. That's the only thing it's about. If they're doing what you're asking them to do, trust that they're on track. Unless you have really compelling reason to suggest otherwise, you don't need to know what the SUDS is. Do you know why? What is the SUDS? It's an assessment of how much distress remains in the memory. Do you know what you have to do that? You have to touch it. You have to weigh it. I don't want you touching it. Remember, the whole point is to leave it in your brain where trauma is. Why would I have you weigh it and then put it back as though I didn't just do that? Does that make sense? That doesn't make conceptual sense. So when clients are having a hard time finding what's distressing in it, let them know, hey, when you're having a hard time finding what's distressing, just let me know. That's all you have to do. Say that once. And then when they are, they're going to let you know. They may even say it right then. Yeah, I'm having a hard time. Okay, good. And then you know what we're going to do? Now that you're having a hard time playing it, we go to step 5. And I mean step 6. And you know what we do in step 6? I say play the video of the bad memory from the very first piece of it that you have. And raise one hand when you find the first little piece of distress. I see the client hand raising and I say, good, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. Do you see what we just did there? We're cleaning up debris by playing the memory. And now, right here, that's where the piece of debris is. So do you know what we do? We catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, do you know what we do? Calm scene. Now we're in a step 6, step 4 loop. We do calm scene with blinks. So good, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Blink, 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 5 seconds apart. Good. Now our cursor in the memory is here. Does that make sense? Because that's where the piece of distress was. So what we do is we say, that piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? Clients will often say, yeah, a tiny bit. Good, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. They let you know it's gone, calm scene, blink, 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 blink. How did that go? That piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? No. Play the memory forward. Let me know when you find the next piece of distress. Good. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. Okay. Good. Calm scene. Blink, 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 blink. How did that go? Good. That piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? No. Good. Play it forward. Let me know when you find the next piece. I just got to the end of the memory. Okay, good. Turn up your sensitivity so that you would notice a 0.5 distress. Turn up your sensitivity, go back, play it again, and let me know when you find the first little piece of distress. Oh, I found a little, oh, good. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. Good. Calm scene. Blink, 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 blink. How did that go? Good. That piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? No. Play it forward. I just got to the end of the memory. Good. Turn up the sensitivity. What I mean is that you're turning up your sensitivity so that if there's even a little bit of something, you're going to register it. Does that make sense? It's almost like turning up your microphone to a very, very high gain, and we're listening for any distress anywhere in that memory. Okay. And then the client may go, no, I can play the whole thing beginning to end. And in this version of Flash, we're done. You're done with that memory. Okay. So when you can play the whole video of the memory and there's no distress on any channel, there is almost always a positive belief that the client believes about themselves right now related to that memory that they didn't believe very strongly a little while ago. Okay. There just is. And it's already installed, right? It's already installed. You can, if you don't believe me, ask. Or you, when you do this and that memory fully resolves, ask yourself, is there something I believe about that memory now more strongly than before I started working on it? Yeah. What is it? Name it. How much do I believe it? I believe it very strongly. So if you're like, wait a minute, I thought EMDR shifted cognitions. It does, because that's what healing does. Does it make sense? Healing shifts cognitions. EMDR is a great way to do that. Flash also heals when you do it well. And you know what healing does? Healing shifts how you think about yourself in the world. It just does. It's a lot of what healing is. It's not everything that healing is, but it's a lot of what healing is. And then that memory in Flash will behave just like a memory that's processed, fully adaptively processed, any other way you do it, whether it's EMDR or somatic approach or any other way that fully resolves a memory. Flash is going to meet that metric. It's going to feel over. It's going to be experienced by all parts of you as over. I'm not in the faith business. You're going to need to see this, right? You're going to need to see that. You're going to need to experience this. You're going to need to say, remember, I had to see 70 people do this in a row before I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this heals without distress. So I'm like, we gotta teach this. We gotta teach this because if there's a way to heal with people who urgently need to heal, but the other therapies are so intensive that they might push them off a cliff. This is a big, big deal in a world where most of our trauma is of the complex type. This is a big deal. If this were a pill, it would be bigger than psychedelics, probably bigger than opiates. I mean, my goodness. I mean, if you could take a pill and fully adaptively resolve a memory with one pill, that'd be a blockbuster freaking pill. So, okay. Questions. This is a quick overview of the steps. We're going to talk in a minute about working mechanism, and then we're going to come back and walk through the steps slower. Do you have any questions about the steps so far? Does it sound like it would be hard with your clients? Do you think it would be difficult to get them to activate only a tiny piece of a memory? It is. And think about it this way. Be honest with yourself. Do you have a memory today that if I were to tell you, you can resolve it and you don't even have to get angry about it? Would you think your parts would be like, but I want to get angry about it. I want to like catharsis. That comes from somewhere. That cultural intuition comes from somewhere. The belief that you have to have a certain type of catharsis is what's kept angry people having endless catharsis toward everyone around them. Does that make sense? It's what's so what makes sense, cultural sense, has never worked for us, right? The avoidance has never worked for us. The endless catharsis of our trauma has never worked for us, right? The endlessly talking about it has had really significant limits into what that can accomplish. Have you been trauma dumped on by the same client 42 times? Did it get better the 43rd time? Okay. So, little bit conspiratorial. I'm not a conspiratorial person. But what if the same cultures that wound us, by which I mean families, by which I mean neighborhoods, by which I mean community mental health clinics, right? By which I mean power structures, by which I mean patriarchy, by which I mean all of those big things. What if the same cultures that wound us have a really huge footprint in shaping what we're allowed to consider wounding? What we're allowed to consider meeting criteria for PTSD, for instance. So, what woundings we're allowed to count and how we should heal, how you should heal from that. And I'm going to suggest if you're someone who's done a lot of healing, every way you've ever done it has been culturally weird. Does that make sense? It's been culturally weird. And those of you that are EMDR trained, I guarantee you, when you first heard about it, you're like, what kind of weird crap out of California is that? And then you get into it and you're like, oh, I'm wondering if this is how humans healed millions of years ago. You know, deep somatic attunement, drumming, bilateral stimulation, deep attunement, back in a time when when trauma was a cultural problem before the invention of the individual, right? So Flash is weird. And man, that's good news. That's really, really, really good news in the business that we're in. So, all right, I see a few questions in chat. Give me a second. Um, what happens when a client, what happens when a client, when asked to view? Yeah, absolutely. So anytime a client's getting activated in any part of the process, we stop and we immediately deal with that activation using one of the four resources we have. And if your client, if you don't know what to do, ground. Grounding is we don't know what to do, we're just going to immediately ground. And then maybe we contain, maybe we shop vac, maybe we do whatever we need to do. Okay? So we we do not push into distress. If a client gets activated, we immediately stop. Yeah. Yeah. Body activation is inevitable in Flash. It's also a problem, right? It's a problem because if it's happening in your body, your nervous system isn't experiencing that piece of the memory is over. It's experiencing it as right now dangerous. So we have to, before we go forward, the distress is always moving away from you in Flash. We're not slowing down, being present, and noticing anything that isn't your pleasant scene. Okay. Yes, it is difficult to pick out pleasant memories here. I mean, difficult memories. Here's a good thing. We're not starting with the big ones anyway. Every client you have has somebody in their life that's annoying them, whether it's a teen they love, but boy, I just look at his neck and my hands would fit right around it some mornings. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we work on that. Does that make sense? Or does your client live with a knucklehead? Maybe we start there, right? We're not getting to the big stuff first. Okay, good. All right, for those of you that just joined, we're an hour in. So So, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay, or you're welcome to reschedule if you, whatever you need to do. So, so, okay. Questions? Any questions about this process that we've just described? We're about to go through
I,
all of
I
this
I have
more
one.
slowly. Go ahead, yeah.
So as you were explaining it, it sounds like when you're in that step 4 to 5 loop, but maybe even 4, 5, 6, would ideally the client be giving very like brief yes or no answers? And if so, how do you proceed when if you have a client who does want to go into like a long drawn out like
Yeah,
explanation? Because in your demonstration,
yeah.
you were just kind of,
Hmm.
is it he are you here or there, yes or no?
Yeah.
Moving through.
So getting consent to do Flash means getting consent to do it in this way. Does that make sense? And if you want to talk about the trauma, I'm going to say, what would you like to do? Because if you want to talk about the trauma, we need to stop doing Flash. Okay? Because we're going to stop. We're going to end trauma processing in this session if you really need to talk about it, because it's going to come here. Does that make sense? And I had a client say, we need to stop because I'm getting mad and I've never been able to get mad. I need to let myself feel this. So we did. And then she felt it and it felt crappy. It felt horrible. And then next session, we resolved that memory. Does that make sense? But you can't do therapy as usual. This is the idea we also need to understand. Since Freud and Breuer 135 years ago, we've been told that what therapy is you go and you talk about it. You have a certain type of therapeutic catharsis, and that's what heals you. That can be helpful, but that is not Flash. And if you need to do that, that's fine, but that is not Flash. We're not talking about the trauma. That's a different therapy. And I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, Helen, I need you to stop talking. We're not doing that, but we're on the front end. We're describing what we're asking them to do. And I'm telling, you're not telling me anything about this memory. And if there's something you want to tell me after it's all over, fine. But in the middle of it, you can't tell me. Because if you tell me Flash isn't going to work, and my job is to get you through this dense, dark forest as quickly and as easily as possible. And if you're having a catharsis about it, that catharsis has to be moving away from you. It can't be, no. So it's tough. It's tough. This is not easy to do until it is. Does that make sense? It's not easy to, that's why it's a practice. Microactivation with our clients is a practice. Having them be in their pleasant scene when they want to be catharsising is a practice. Okay, good. All right, page 5. Let's talk a little bit about working mechanism. So most of us were trained in triune brain. Okay, triune brain. Triune brain was developed by a guy that was born in the 19 teens. I think he was born in 1912. Paul MacLean developed triune brain. The core of it was developed in the late 50s and 60s, and it's an understanding of the brain that we all just grew up with. Like brainstem, limbic brain, neocortex, three brains, three largely separate brains fighting with each other for control over your actions and mood and behaviors, etc. Does that make sense? So the problem is triune brain has been incredibly helpful and influential for trauma therapists because it was a generally non-pathological, non-pathologizing metaphor. Does it make sense? The metaphors before were all keratological. Remember the treatments in World War I and World War II for shell shock were all about why are some people so weak that they break and other people can be these big strong soldiers and they don't break, right? So the treatments were about strengthening your character, right? So triune brain comes along and it's like, hey, this isn't about you. This is your 150 million year old limbic brain executing programming that is ancient. This isn't even your fault, right? That's pretty compelling, the metaphor, isn't it? The problem is that triune brain was a evolutionary model of vertebrate evolution. And its its basis is built upon evolutionary comparisons. The problem is we've learned an enormous amount of vertebrate evolution the last 50 years, the last 20 years, the last 5 years, that roundly shows that we did not develop these brain regions on top of each other in an evolutionary structure the way that triune brain suggests. And advances in neuroanatomy and neurobiology don't show that we have these three brains that are fighting for control. You have one brain that is always on, right? One brain that is always on until you die. Okay. And every part of it is intimately connected with every other part of it. Your brain is always changing. Okay. It's always on, always changing. It's just the trauma parts of it are sticky. They're not meant to be updated easily. Right? But every time you learn something, your brain is updating, it is changing. So in the newer metaphors, built around neuroplasticity, built around an adaptive brain, have an enormous amount of explanatory power. And nobody's going to argue with you anymore about whether the evolutionary basis of triune brain is accurate. You're not going to find a serious person on the planet that's going to argue the way MacLean argued 60 years ago, 65 years ago. Let me put it this way. Triune brain is older than I am, and I have gray hair. Okay? Do you think we've learned some stuff about neurobiology, about the brain, that might roundly challenge a model of the brain that we're used to and we're comfortable with? So if you find triune brain useful, fine. Just realize that when your clients Google it, 9 out of the first 10 things that are going to come up, it's going to be described as an antiquated, largely discredited view of human neuroevolution. So we should be teaching triune brain in ways that neurobiologists would recognize. We should be teaching the neurobiology of trauma in ways that people that do this all day would recognize. And across neuroscience, the idea of a predictive, adaptive, or predictive brain is gaining an enormous amount of relevance. And in this model, you don't have three brains. What you have in your brain is you have a model of yourself in the world based on every single thing you've ever been through. And we understand this, don't we? Don't you have a model of everything you've ever been through that makes what's happening right here, right now make sense? Think how weird the people that just connected with this training, if they thought they were connecting to a Taco Bell manager's meeting, does that make sense? That would make absolute, they'd be like, what the heck is he talking? What's going on here? Why are we not talking about sales numbers? And, you know, so we have in our minds a model of ourself in the world that is built from everything we've ever been through. And what our brain does is it makes predictions from that model based on what's happening right here, right now, about what we're about to experience next. The core of perception is prediction. Your brain is predicting what's about to happen next. So instead of information coming through our senses and moving deeper and deeper into our brain where ultimately meaning comes, that's not what's happening. Scientists have been able to map information and information flow in the brain, and there's an enormous amount of information that is flowing from deep into your brain toward the sensory regions of your brain. In many regions, at least 4 times the amount of information flows from deep into your brain down toward the sensory structures than flows from the sensory structures deep into your brain. Your brain is making hundreds of thousands of predictions a second about what you're about to sense, about what you're about to experience. And when those predictions don't align with sensory data, prediction error is generated and error signals are sent back up into your brain. And you know what the error signals do? They have they can result in one or two things. They either now clarify subsequent predictions that are sent down. Oh, that is a stick, not a snake. Does that make sense? See that? Sensory information can clarify and then issue new predictions, a whole cascade of new predictions. Or it updates the piece of the model that you have in your head, right? So predictions, this vast flow of predictions moving down toward our sensory regions, when they don't match, generates prediction error. And prediction error signals either result in updating the information held in your brain about yourself and the world, or it issues new predictions, which those predictions might. So this is the broad structure of a predictive mind. Okay, there's one element we haven't talked about, which is called precision weighting. And what precision weighting is where is your brain putting emphasis? Does that make sense? Where is your brain putting emphasis in the vast flow of information, in the vast flow of predictions, in the vast flow of prediction error, and in the vast stream of sensory data that's coming into your brain all of the time? We have about 1.5 megabits of data per second that come into our brain from our sensory regions alone. I mean, from our vision alone, right? That's an enormous amount of information. So what precision weighting is where is your brain attaching relevance? What in all of this stuff is helpful for me to focus on right here as I'm trying to construct your reality? Now, here's what trauma does. We know this. What trauma does is it shifts precision weighting very, very strongly to itself. Does that make sense? That's literally on an extreme, you're having a flashback. And you know what happens when you're having a flashback? You are not in your sensory state at all. Does that make sense? You're quite literally, you've been pulled into that bad memory. So trauma is very sticky. Does that make sense? It wants to pull you into it. And in a mind that's wired this way, the only thing you have to counter that is right now sensory attention. Right now sensory attention, we anchor you in the present and we have you attend to things in the present moment. Literally, isn't that what we do when we get you out of a flashback? We use sensory grounding to use your senses to get you here and out of the stickiness in that bad memory. So here's what's happening in Flash from a predictive processing point of view. We bring a tiny piece of the memory into working memory. And then we get that piece of the memory and we purposefully send it away. Okay? Guess what? Your brain, because you touched it with your awareness, your brain has to make predictions about it. Your brain is going to make many predictions about that piece of the memory because what we know about, remember, your brain's in a black box. It doesn't know what's past, what's present, all it knows, it's just trying to make sense of the information that's coming at it. When you bring a piece of memory into working memory, your brain is going to have a window where it's going to have to make predictions about that piece of the memory. Okay? And do you know the prediction I want it to make? I want it to make ultimately the prediction that that little piece of the memory is over. Some of the predictions are big. This might not be over. Some of the predictions are like, I don't know. It's such a little piece. I don't know what to do about it. Does that make sense? And then what we want, because your body and your sensory state, which are the only two things that your mind has to update anything, right? Is your right now sensory apparatus. Because remember, the correction happens in your sensory apparatus, and prediction error happens there. So what if what Flash is it just leverage therapeutic present-based prediction error in a way that's very, very, very helpful? Okay. What if EMDR does the same thing? What if the difficult stuff in EMDR therapy, connecting with the adaptive stuff, remember your AIP in your training, what if difficult stuff connecting with adaptive stuff is prediction error? Right? What if that's what's healing you is prediction error? By the way, the check-ins in EMDR therapy are vital. Yeah, you have your lens turned inward, you're looking at this stuff, this difficult stuff in your body, and every 30 seconds, you're opening your eyes, you're looking at a therapist who is in a room with drywall, with fluorescent lighting, and you're seeing with your right now eyes, that memory that I'm working on isn't happening right here, right now. And we go in and we repeat that again. Okay. EMDR 2.0, those of you who are trained in EMDR 2.0, EMDR 2.0 floods the heck out of you with a memory and then distracts you from that activation. Do you know what distracting you from the activation is? It's prediction error. You're having the distractions distract your predicted effective sequela, right? The distractions when you overly activate, you're expecting, I'm not safe. This is bad. It's happening right here, right now. But what am I doing? I'm having you jump left. I'm leveraging right now present sensory information to distract you from that activation. Do you know what that is? That's prediction error all day long. I don't know whether it's taxing working memory, but I'm guaranteeing you in a mind that is wired this way, that is therapeutically salient prediction error. So those of you that do parts work, who does parts work here? Parts work is relational work in which parts of you have relational experiences with other parts of you that are disconfirming of the expectation in the bad memory. When my clients do parts work, it's one of the first experiences they've ever had of deep self-listening. You know what that is? That's prediction error all day long, isn't it? Right? Deep, salient, present-based compassion. My clients' parts. When a part may be like, well, I don't like that you do this behavior, but boy, I sure understand why you advocate for it. Deep, present-based prediction error. Okay, psychedelics. Whether psychedelics lower defenses, do you know what lower defenses are? They generate prediction error, or they're changing how you interact with the memory. Those of you who've seen psychedelics or read about psychedelics, people are interacting with the memory in a way that is different than every other time they've interacted with that memory. Do you know what that is? That's prediction error in a brain wired this way. And if you think that, and when I say brain wired this way, it's not just perception. And it's not just updating learning. Every single thing that your brain does seems to do it using a model, a cascade of predictions, prediction error, and right now sensory feedback. Whether it's sodium regulation, whether it's heart rate, whether it's all of the homeostatic things that your body does uses this. Right? We can't learn without prediction error, right? So back to Taco Bell, right? Everything that I've ever said in this training, if it's made any kind of sense at all, it's because you've been able to follow my words because of everything you've ever been through. And when things don't line up, that creates a very specific type of prediction taco. Do you see what I just did there? Did you feel that little prediction error? you see? So you see how everything we do, our capacity to understand language, our capacity to do anything is very, very heavily shaped by this way that our brain seems to be. Okay? So what I'm saying here, many branches of neuroscience are starting to organize around because it's so elegant. It explains, it dissolves the functional organic boundary, right? It explains neurodivergence as just a diversity in precision weighting, right? In a way that very, very few other models can. It explains pain as all one piece. Pain is a byproduct of some glitches in your predictive system. All of it, even pain from a cut arm, all of it is floats on top of your predictive system, the way a mat floats on top of a pool. Okay? So if this sounds strange, it is. It is. But computational neuroscience, AI people, infant learning specialists, okay, people who study the way our sense receptors in our eyes shape what is experienced in our brain. All of these people are talking with each other about this model, right? So large branches of neuroscience are organizing around the concept of predictive processing. Also, it goes by multiple names because it has multiple Edens. So I think you're going to be hearing more about it. Predictive processing, active inference, predictive processing framework is probably the broadest kind of category. And it's really, really cool. There's also, from our perspective, the idea that we heal across prediction error is one of the truest things our field is already organized around. Does that make sense? You don't have a plastic bat in your office where you just beat the crap out of your clients, right? And why don't you? Because we're trying to hold them in a way that is different than the people who hurt them. We're trying to listen to them when they've been so hard for people to listen to, right? Does that make sense? So the idea that we heal across prediction error, we of all people on the planet should appreciate that. Okay? A lot of this also, so we think about predictive processing up here. There's Bruce Ecker right here who's been saying this stuff for 20 years. What Bruce Ecker did is he looked at what was transformational in trauma therapy, and then he looked at memory reconsolidation research. And he has a very, very simple idea that if humans had any insight, all these mice and nematodes wouldn't have had to go through all of this experimentation to prove. What Bruce Ecker says, if you want to heal, you need to activate a piece of something and then ask your client to have a present-based sensory experience that disconfirms it, that shows them in their right now body and their nervous system that it's not true. Okay? So we heal across prediction error. We heal across experiential mismatch. We heal, as Bruce Ecker says, we heal across juxtaposition. You're expecting to experience one thing and you actually experience another. And even if you've ever sat with a little friend at a little table and you were going through something hard, and by the end of that table, by the end of that meeting, something had shifted in you, you had an experience of something. Do you know what I mean? So EMDR therapists, particularly, every single time that you've ever seen a client heal, they've had experiences of that healing. Every set. Even if they're like, I was just a kid. We gotta notice that. We're like, yeah, I knew that. But that client didn't. That information hitting that client's nervous system in that way at that time is deeply, deeply transformational for them. Okay. Questions. This is a lot of information. It's a lot of information. And if predictive processing is too big of a leap for you from triune brain, I think you're going to be hearing a lot more about network neuroscience, which is also very compatible with predictive processing. So you're going to be hearing more about default mode network, salience network, executive network. You're going to be hearing a lot more about those as an update to triune brain. And it's really good news. So why is it good news? Because what's wrong with us, what's really wrong with us isn't a glitch in a 150 million year old brain region. It's not. Your brain is always changing. It's always changing all the time. It's always changing. It's just the trauma parts of it aren't meant to be changed easily without a very compelling form of right now sensory experience to update it. Okay. And remember, a tiny, tiny slice of a memory. Do you know what a tiny, tiny slice of a memory is? Imagine this is the little piece of the memory that we're working on in a timeline that is 500 miles each way. Do you know what that paper thin slice is? Which is the one little bitty peek at the memory? It's not that evolutionarily expensive. It's really not hard at all to change if you give the body and the nervous system the right type of prediction error. If it's expecting and you give it puppies or you give it a deli sandwich wrapped in deli paper, it can update that little piece of the memory. And then we update the next little piece of the memory. And we update the next little piece of the memory. See? Questions? Questions about any of this? I know it's a lot of information. Kids, kids love, 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 love Flash. Every trauma training you've ever done, it says you have to make this fun. Flash literally makes it fun. They can watch their favorite YouTuber play their favorite piece of video game, and that memory is going to resolve. It just is. And you know what? They're going to want to come back and they're going to want to do more trauma work. Now, you're going to have to write up in your notes a way that makes it look like you're doing something legitimate. You know, like client watch Dan TDM beat such and such in Minecraft and blah blah. No, you can't do that, right? So you have to write it up in your notes in a way that sounds awesome. Yeah, yeah. People, okay, neurodivergence. While certain tasks of this might be difficult, there's rapid task switching in Flash. That can be hard for many people with neurodivergence. But do you know what people on the autism spectrum generally have? They have something in this world that lights up their dopamine system. That needs to be their pleasant scene. That's you're halfway there with that. And it's not true that most people with ADHD can't focus. Most people with ADHD can focus just fine on deeply salient, engaging information, of which your calm scene is. So someone with ADHD, I'm not going to show them a beach with slow waves coming in. Why? Because they're going to be bored out of their mind by the fourth wave. Does that make sense? I'm going to show them something. I'm going to show them like we're going to find something that's really engaging, compelling, and just pulls them in. Does that make sense? So I'm not suggesting that Flash is super, super easy for people with neurodivergence, but it's way easier than EMDR, where what they're noticing is very, very non-salient. You have a pressure in your chest that is moving up half an inch every 15 seconds. That sounds pretty freaking boring. Do you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, we don't. So, um, the we're not having clients when we're first starting this, any part of anything that flies out, we catch and contain. Does that make sense? I'm not saying focus on any part of the memory. I'm saying think about the memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. It's not until we can open the door on the memory and stuff isn't flying out at us that I then say, let's go to our video and digest each piece of it chronologically as we go along. Okay, so when we first start, this piece will come, that piece will come, this piece will come 5 times, 5 sets in a row, and then that piece will come, that piece will come, that piece will come, that piece will come, and then it starts cooling down. And then when it cools down, then we're going to come along and clear out the debris. Okay, so we're not done until that's why we play the video. We're not done until you can play the video and you've digested every little piece of debris. Flash causes memories to generalize. Resolving one memory may resolve multiple memories that you don't have to touch. Okay? Flash probably doesn't generalize as much as EMDR therapy. EMDR is kind of like a big brush hog that they pull behind a tractor. It clears out like 25 feet, right? Flash is kind of like a little push mower, right? And I don't care. You know what a push mower is going to do? It's going to let you manage the catastrophe of the front yard today. It's going to let us start, right? So you have clients that you need a weed eater and a push mower, and we're not going to disparage those because you can't use the brush hog on the front yard. Does it make sense? You got bird feeders and crap and piles of garbage, right? It's just not, that's not right now. We can get to that, but not right now. All right, questions. Any questions about working mechanism stuff? Is this bonkers? I mean, are you following what I'm saying about predictive mind? If you want to read The Experience Machine by Andy Clark. It will blow your mind. And if you're interested in how our emotions are a byproduct of our predictive system, because your emotions are your brain's best guess about what you're about to feel. And if you're interested in that, read Lisa Feldman Barrett's How Emotions Are Made. Andy Clark's The Experience Machine, Lisa Feldman Barrett's How Emotions Are Made. Okay, page 6. Flash in a crisis context. Yeah, flash in a crisis context. So where is the memory if your client comes in? Do we want a memory here in Flash? No. It works because if the memory's here, what's happening in your body? Oh my gosh, your body's got to be on fire. Your body's not going to be able to have a disconfirming experience if the memory is sitting in working memory. So you know what we have to do? We have to ground, 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 get that memory far enough away from you so that you're able to bring a tiny piece of it in at a time. So can we use Flash in a crisis context? Yes, after we ground. And you may need to use grounding because you start to do this and then it may just fly into that. So if a client gets over, it's very easy to get overactivated when your client's already flooded. Okay. How I incorporate Flash as an EMDR therapist. We overthink this. I include this section only because I do some of these trainings that are EMDRI approved, and we have to have some stuff in there that gets through that. This one's not, but I don't care. And let me think how to say it. People get too caught up in questions like, if Flash is so great, why would I do EMDR therapy? What if Flash is a tool that's on your toolbox and it's okay to sit there, right? What if EMDR therapy is a tool that's on your toolbox and it's okay to sit there? Those of you that do EMDR and you do parts work, do you care one bit if your client comes in and says, I want to do parts work today, I don't care one bit. I'm delighted that they want to work in a way that's going to be really helpful for them today. So let the tools sit on the toolbox because any competition between them is our shadow puppetry with them. Does it make sense? They don't have any problem with each other. It's our silly, you know what I mean? Yeah. So sometimes with some clients on some days, Flash is going to be the tool we use. With other clients on some days, parts work will be the tool we use. Sometimes EMDR will be the tool we use. Anything beyond that's probably overthink. And then some people say, Tom, I'm afraid the client is going to process all of their trauma with Flash and we're not going to be able to do EMDR therapy. I'm like, will you please say the first half of that sentence out loud and just listen to yourself? I'm afraid the client is going to process all of their trauma. And that's not my worry. I've never worried for a moment about a client with complex trauma processing all of their trauma before I was able to do the interventions with them that I want to do. I don't worry about that a bit. You know what I mean? It's fine. Yes, a client with complex trauma has never showed up on a Thursday and I've been like, oh crap, we accidentally processed all of your trauma. That's not how complex trauma works. There's time. There's time to start with Flash. There's time to do parts work. There's time to do EMDR. There's time to do all of it. And if your client processes all of their trauma in Flash and they're a person with complex trauma, that's freaking awesome. Does that make sense? What's the problem? Good. All right, let's jump to page 9. Let's develop our Flash container. Now, do you know what your Flash container needs to contain? Does it need to contain the memory? It does not. Do you know why? We're not touching the memory. Do you know what we're touching? A little piece of the memory that comes out. And if a big old piece of the memory comes out, that means we held the door open up too long. Does that make sense? So we're not going to use the container for that. We're going to use grounding for that. Does that make sense? So the container that you make doesn't have to be terribly big because you don't need a big one. And we're going to make lots of copies of it because you're going to need a lot of copies of it. It's not what we're going to use. A brand new empty container comes every time. So when I say container, do you have something in your mind that could work? It could be a cookie jar, it can be a safe, it can be a mailbox, it can be a little vault, it can be anything. Do you have something that works? And if you struggle visualizing, I got you. Don't worry about it. We'll get to that in a minute. But try it because this is going to be helpful. Okay. Good. Do you have something that will work? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. How are y'all doing? Okay, good. Now, that container, notice how it opens. Notice how it closes. Spin it around in your awareness. Notice what it's made of. The color. Like the more concrete you can make it, the better. Okay, good. Okay. Now, can you imagine? I don't have one right here, but can you imagine a completely empty or blank post-it note, like a yellow post-it note, going into your container and see it close? Does it feel like it's in there? Or just checking to make sure your container can contain. If it feels like it's in there, good. If not, retry it real quick. Okay, good. How's that? Okay, good. Now what I want you to try is your container magically. I want you to get it and send it far, far away, like flies right through your wall, right out into past the atmosphere, past the moon, past all the planets, past the object formerly known as the planet Pluto, like just out of the solar system in like a second. Can you imagine that? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. If you're struggling, do you know why? If you're struggling, can you move away from it? Does that make sense? Is it the sending it away that's the problem? Is it the but try to fiddle with it to get you. We need to get it as far away from you as possible so that all of awareness can be available to your calm scene. Because if a bad piece of that memory is sitting right here, it's going to junk up your calm scene because we're about to be in the calm scene. Make sense? Okay, good. Questions? The ability to get distance from it. Now, let's talk about an accommodation. So, those of you that struggle visualizing, in my office, I have 50 bean bags, blue, yellow, green, red bean bags. Okay. And they live in a wicker basket. And between me and the client, there's a little table. And then I dump the bean bags on the table between me and the client. And when we're doing flash, the client picks one of them up and they think about the memory only when the beanbag is in the air. And whatever's distressing while the beanbag is in the air gets associated with the beanbag and they throw it across the room toward the empty wicker basket. Okay, so do you know what that is? That's microactivate container. We're using gravity as our timer. Okay, and we're sending the beanbag across the room. And if you're like, what do I do? What do I do like with telehealth? Well, like telehealth, everybody's got a piece of paper. You know what you do? You tear the piece of paper into strips. You tear the strips into squares, and then you make little balls of paper with the squares. And you know what you do through telehealth? You have the client throw it in the air, catch it, and send it across the room, and you don't even care because it's not chunking up your office. And then they'll go and they'll pick them all up and put them in a little solo cup, and then they'll have them next time. And they'll just keep recycling them. Make sense? So it's also a way to manage activation because if you're thinking about the memory only when this is in the air, well, then you have to track this with your eyes to catch it. That's helping you stay here when I'm worried about you flying into the memory. And then this is a literal motor movement designed to send the message. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not feeling it. It's moving away from me. Ah, now I'm going to be in my calm scene. Okay, good. Questions? Those of you that struggle with containment, can you imagine doing this with a little piece of paper instead? Okay, try it. Good. Questions? Questions about containment? If you can't contain or just doing this is often enough. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Just sending it away. I'm going to ask you all to do that when we practice this together in about 20 minutes. Okay, good. All right. Does anybody, and this is what I'm asking you, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to activate you a little bit about something because we're about to vacuum that activation out. Okay? So, do you live with a knucklehead? Okay? Do you have a boss that's been a knucklehead? Right? Do you have a neighbor that you don't like? Does that make sense? Can you think of something that just causes a little bit of an arousal, maybe just a one or a two arousal, right? Just a little bit of arousal. And then have you used a shop vac before? Have you used a handheld vacuum with a hose to vacuum up cat hair or vacuum up something? You ever pulled the hose off of a canister vacuum? Or have you ever used a dust buster but you got to make the dustbuster like 20 times more powerful because dustbusters are weak, aren't they? They're just not very powerful. So um, think about that frustrating thing and then find where that's showing up in your body and then vacuum it out. Find it, vacuum it out, use your hands. Use your hands to hold the vacuum and vacuum it out. Okay. You don't have to get all of it. Were you able to get some of it? You able to get some of it? Good. Who's struggling with shop vac? Do you have something that we need a strategy to get that we need a strategy to get the stress out of your body? Because the stress in your body confirms the predictions. It doesn't generate prediction error. It's confirming of the expectation, right? Okay. How are you feeling about shop vac? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Reasonably well? How do you get to, if it doesn't work, how do you get the stress out of your body quickly now? Do you need to get up and wiggle? Do you need to take some big deep breaths? You need to breathe it out? Can you do a really fast light stream? We need some strategy to get the stress out of your body quickly. If nothing else, you can do grounding. That's going to take a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Grounding's going to take a little bit of time, but better than nothing. We need grounding. We're going to cover grounding in a minute. All right, good. Page 11. What is it that if you were in a meeting with colleagues, you look down, it's playing on your phone, you might just burst out loud laughing? What is it that's so funny that you can't not be shifted in it? And I'm going to have you find that on YouTube, right? What is it that's so funny, engaging, silly, pleasant, beautiful, distracting? It can be highlight clips. Don't do whole episodes, but it can be highlight clips of your favorite TV show. Okay. So find it. I'm going to give you 90 seconds to do that, and I'll be right back. All right. Good. How'd that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Good. The pleasant scene, pleasant, engaging, funny, distracting, silly, beautiful, whatever scene. By the way, it doesn't have to be on YouTube. It can be your favorite Spotify playlist, and you can get up and dance. Okay? It needs to be not your breakup playlist, right? Not your angsty teen. thinking existential thoughts in your bedroom when you're 12 playlist. Does that make sense? Not that, but your power anthem, I got this, energizing, playlist. Yeah. It can also be an actual dog that you are petting right now with your actual hand, right? It can be an actual dog or an actual pet. If you're home, you can engage with. It can be a service animal. Absolutely. Right? Again, you just need to like it. Sometimes I say, oh, do you want to use your dog as your calm scene? Like, no, I hate him. He bites me and he pees in my shoe. I don't want to use him as my calm scene. I want to be out of here, So no, you can't. You need to like it. It can be it can be an object, but it really, really needs to be compelling and shift how you feel in the present moment. So the pleasant scene has two rules. It has to shift your affective state quickly. It really has to shift your affective state in 4 seconds. Why? Because one of those seconds you're blinking. So it's got to be able to shift your affective state really, really fast. The other rule of the pleasant scene is it cannot in any way intersect with the memory you're working on. Okay? You can't use cute babies to process a memory of child loss. Does that make sense? They intersect. You can't do it. You can't use a video of a beautiful beach in Maui to process divorce trauma when that's where you honeymooned. Does that make sense? You can't, right? You can't even use your favorite video game to process a trauma with someone that you played that video game with. Does that make sense? It causes intersections, and intersections are confirming rather than disconfirming. So if you find an intersection between the memory and the pleasant scene, you have to change the pleasant scene. You can change the pleasant scene at any time and for any reason, but you have to change it if there's an intersection, or you have to change the memory, one of the two. So here's what happens when we don't have to stress on our radar and we just do flash. Client activates, they don't tell you. Next round, they activate again. They don't tell you. The activation is building. Do you know what your predictive mind is going to do when they start to have a catharsis? A bad catharsis is your mind is going to say all of this is trauma, including your calm scene, and it's going to make your calm scene a trauma trigger. That's why we really need information from our clients. We need them to buy the idea that if this isn't largely painless, we must stop because real harm can occur if you're pushing into it. And people with complex trauma, you've seen this. They're like, all right, we're going to do this. And they put their football helmet on. They just push, 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 and it doesn't go well. There is no pushing in flash. There is no pushing into distress. If distress comes, it's expected. We use one of our four resources to manage it. Okay. Good. Do you have a calm scene that works? Pretty good. Okay, good. Last resource. Do you need to go get your candle? Do you need to go get a drink? Do you need to go get something for the sense of smell and taste? Because we're going to do sensory grounding real quick here in a moment. You need to go get an essential oil. You can ground using chapstick. So, y'all are good. You have what you need for grounding? Good. So, we're going to do this pretty quickly. And again, in all these resources, I'm not really modeling this, teaching you all, but when I teach the resources, I describe it for a client. We get consent. These are very dip your toe in resources. They're not deep. They're not slow. They're very, very fast. They're very, very concrete. So And then we get consent from client parts before we do any of these resources because I want to deal with any problems on the front end rather than in the middle of it. Does that make sense? Good. So we're going to engage with each of your senses for just a few seconds, and I'm not going to ask you anything about it until the end. So this whole resource should be over in 30 to 40 seconds. Okay? Good. And if it's okay for you to do it, what I invite you to do is look around your current room. Notice whatever you see. Notice if you were to touch that object, would it be hard or soft or some other texture? Good. Okay, good. If you have a piece of furniture near you, touch it. Is it warmer, cooler, or the same temperature as your hand? Good. I'm going to be very quiet. Notice whatever you hear in order of loudest first. Good. If you have something near you that has a smell, feel free to engage in that. Good. If you have something near you that has a taste, feel free to engage in that. Good. How did that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, and thumbs down. What I'm asking is, did it let you feel a little bit more connected to the present? Okay? To this present moment. Did it let you feel a little bit more connected to right here, right now? And if so, which of the senses for you was the most anchoring? Seemed to be the most powerful because if you have a flashback, that's the sense I want you to start with first. Does that make sense? The one that's the most powerful. Okay. Awesome. So good. Do you have your 4 resources in place? They are container, which can also just be this, right? Container, vacuum, or some accommodation for it, right? Including your little balls of paper. Right? Vacuum or light stream or any kind of thing to get distress out of the body quickly. Our third resource is your pleasant scene. And our fourth resource is sensory grounding. And if you have those 4 resources in place, you're pretty much ready to go. So let's take a 6-minute break, come back at 5 minutes after. I'll review a little bit of safety stuff before we do the group. If you have time in this break, go to the back of the manual and look through the safety sheet. That is on, safety sheet is on page 30 through 33, I think. 32, 30 to 32. Yep. Let's come back at 5 after, and then we'll cover a little bit of safety stuff. Then we'll practice this together, and then we'll save your questions for the end. Awesome. 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. Question in chat. If a part objects to the specific memory we're working on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a new memory. Does that make sense? Because sometimes our parts need to know that we can hear no before they'll give consent. And we need all parts to consent, right? So yeah, we select a new memory. So unless we're negotiating about what that new memory is, step three should be really fast. What I'm going to ask you is there a memory you want to work on today? Is it an individual memory that happened at a particular place and time? And do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? And if so, push it out of your awareness. Look at a blank wall, blank ceiling. Let me know when it's gone. That's how we're going to select the memory that quickly. Okay. Very quickly, safety information. We work in this version of Flash, we work one memory at a time only, right? One memory at a time only. If other memories want to come, no. Why? Because if you let in two, what's to keep six from coming? What's to keep 26 from coming? Let's work one memory at a time. Okay. If distress comes, and it's going to, get out of sync with me and deal with that distress using one of your core resources. Okay. And if it's a lot of distress, that resource should be grounding. Okay. So we do not push into distress. If distress comes, stop. Use your resource. Use a resource to manage it, and do not go forward until the distress is moving away from you. Okay. If this isn't largely painless, stop. You can change the calm scene at any time. If the bad memory is showing up in your calm scene, stop, stop, grab what intruded and send it beyond Pluto. Okay, good. If there's an intersection, stop, deal with it. Deal with it. Manage that difficulty using one of your core resources. Okay. If you have to ground in the first few rounds, do you know what that means? It means you looked at the memory too long. That's not failure, that's information. And what that means, if wham, that memory shows up hard in your body, that means you looked at the memory too long. Next time, I want you to look at the memory 100 times faster. Don't wait until it whams, right? Don't wait. Just get, even if you don't, even if it's a syllable and you don't know, don't wait for the distress to hit your body before you contain. If you see a piece of the memory and it looks distressing, or it looks like it should be distressing, stop, catch that, contain it, send it far away. Don't wait for the distress to go right past your glove and hit your body, because then you're going to have to get it out of your body. Okay? Good. Good. Let your eyes blink normally, right? Don't hold your eyes open saying, Tom didn't say blink. Tom didn't say blink. Let your eyes blink normally, right? You need to keep your eyes healthy. And again, if you have eye irritation issues, don't blink. Look away. Look at a doorknob and then turn back and look at your video. Okay? Good. Any questions before we start? The biggest challenge is microactivating. Does anybody here at a desk? Does your desk have a drawer? Okay. Those of you that have a desk with a drawer, what I want you to do, it's going to probably take a few times. I want you to open and close that drawer so quickly that you only see one thing. Try it. If not, try it again. Do it even faster until you only see one thing. Do you see that? You see how hard that is? We may need to practice this with our clients. Does that make sense? So that you only see one thing. You only get one little piece of something. Because if the video is playing, you've played too much. Does that make sense? So you're going to get an uncomfortably small amount of something and then catch it, contain it, ideally. And if you go like this and a London street bus comes out and it's sitting on your chest, you ground. Okay. Starting with the resource that was the most powerful for you. Okay. Excellent. We're going to do this about 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. 35 minutes will get us till about 10 till. So we're going to do this for 35 minutes. If you process whatever you're working first, please, I forgot one of the most important things. Don't don't work on a memory that is one of the biggest, most awful. Don't do that. It's a Monday. Don't do that. Why would you do that? It's brand new. Don't reach in and grab the biggest monster in your trauma container. Grab a frustration. Grab something that you know you'd be able to handle if it were rumbling around in your nervous. Does it make sense? Be sensible. Okay, good. All right, good. If you process whatever you start with and you can't find distress in it, you're not done. Does that make sense? If you're just doing what I'm asking you to do, you're not done because you haven't played the video. So the moment it's getting hard for you to find what's distressing, I want you to start playing the video on your own and then digest each little piece of debris until you can play the video beginning to end nonstop and there's no distress on any channel. And then you're done with that memory. If you're done with that memory in 15 minutes, start working on another one of similar size in the 15 minutes that remain. Does that make sense? Some of you in the 35 minutes or 30, now 32 minutes, you're not going to be able to process what you have because that just takes 40 minutes sometimes. And we don't have all that time. So this will let you get started. Okay, good. Do you have your calm scene ready? We're going to do 2 rounds in the calm scene with blinks first. And then I'm going to have you select the memory that we're going to work on. And then we're going to do another round of the calm scene with blinks, and then we're going to get going, processing micro slices of it. Okay? Awesome. Good. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. I just need a little nod, a little thumbs up to let me know that you're there, and then that way I can kind of navigate the group. Good. Just be in your calm scene. There's no other job. You're not thinking about anything bad if I'm not asking you to think about something bad. You're only thinking about the pleasant scene when you're in the pleasant scene. Good. Blink. And then go right back into your calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? How y'all doing? You able to find your way into your calm scene? Let's do it again. Remember, first time we're in step 4, we repeat it. Right? Good calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You doing all right? Good. Is there a memory you thought you'd want to work on today? And make sure that it's an individual memory. It happened at a specific place and a specific time. One thing. Okay. And then check, do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? If not, negotiate with your parts and find something tolerable. If so, just push it out of your awareness, blank it out, look at a ceiling. If you need to, blank it out. When it's gone, load up your calm scene. Again, if you need to use resources at any time, use them. Otherwise, be in your calm scene. Good. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing all right? Okay, good. Are y'all ready to get going? I want you to look at the memory like between these two claps, like that quick. See what I mean? Like, so lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing. Use your hand, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. If you need to, vacuum it out. Otherwise, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Were you able to find your way into the calm scene? Okay, good. Let's do it again. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. We're going to just do 2 rounds again. Let's do 2 rounds in the calm scene again. It's a little off script. Go with me here. So be in your calm scene. Blink, blink. Go back into your calm scene. Good. Blink, blink, and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. Awesome. All right, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good. Just be in your calm scene. Use resources if you need to. We don't push into distress. Good, calm scene. Blink, 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 blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Y'all doing okay? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. You doing all right? If you're struggling, message me. I'll help you out. Okay? Awesome. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing all right. Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? Good. Now's probably a good time. Check your body. Make sure that none of that memory is hanging out in your body. If it is, vacuum it out or move away, breathe it out, do whatever you need to do. Yep. Good. Yep. Contain whatever comes. Good. Excellent. All right. Good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Hot potato. Yep. Good. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing all right. Okay. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. It's helpful to use your hands. I know it feels silly, but use your hands, send it away. Then when it's gone, calm scene. And then just be with your calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing okay? Excellent. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Just be in your calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing okay? Okay, good. If you're struggling, message me. Okay, good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. So be in your calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing all right. Excellent. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. So really be in your calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing all right. Good. Excellent. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink. 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 And blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing okay? How you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? Okay, excellent. Good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing all right. Okay, good. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing all right. Excellent. Good. If you think you're done with the memory, but you haven't played the video yet, you're not done. So start playing the video if you feel like you're done. But you have played the video and you got to the end of it, beginning to end, there's no distress. We're halfway through, you can work on something new. Okay? Excellent. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Excellent. Yes. So those of you that need to play the video, I can't walk you through it because everybody arrives there at a different time. So you just, when I say think about the memory, you just play the video forward until you find the distress. Awesome. Excellent. Good. How are y'all doing? Is this okay? This should be mostly fun. Does that make sense? It's not fun. It's almost like touching, the metaphor is like touching a skillet with a wet finger. Like you want to, that's all we're doing. Over and over and over and over and over. If you're, it's not going well. So that's all we're doing, right? Just getting one little bitty tiny piece of it at a time. Awesome. Good. Y'all seem to be doing good. Your energy's good. You're having a good time in your calm scene. That's how I know it's working. Okay? Awesome. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Very quickly think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing okay? Okay, good. Looks like we've got maybe 12 more minutes to go. Okay, good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing okay? Okay, good. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. If you're done, just hang out in your calm scene. The time will pass super quick. Good. Blink, 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 and blink. All right, good. How'd that go? Doing okay? Okay, good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Y'all doing all right? Okay, good. Looks like we have about 9 minutes. We're just going to keep going. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing all right? Okay, good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? We're doing all right. Excellent. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing okay? Okay. Good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Doing okay? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right. All right, good. 5 minutes. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. Probably 3 more rounds. Okay, very quickly think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing all right. Last round, very quickly, think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 and blink. Okay, good. How are y'all? How you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? Okay, good. There's probably some logic in doing some type of closure. We were just handling trauma. And I say you have 4 resources that we know work. Use them, right? If you need to contain between sessions, use it. You need to ground, use it, right? You need to use your calm scene without blinks, use it, right? Good. Need to use shop vac, use it between sessions. Okay. Good. What questions do you have? How was that experience? What questions do you have about it? Did it work? Yeah, if other memories want to come, we don't let them. It's one of the just rules. It's just we can do multiple in a session back to back, but we're so worried about more content coming. Yeah, it's hard. If other memories really, really want to come, do you know what that means? If other memories really want to come, you need to look in your body because there's probably a sensation in your body from that memory that's pulling the other ones. Does that make sense? So a lot of times other memories wanting to come is because the body feels a way that's really similar to them. And that is a sign of overactivation. Remember, if you have the memory in your body, then that's a sign of overactivation. Yeah. When we're doing this with an actual client, do we stop when there's activation and go, yeah, well, we don't guide them. They have the resources, so they know how to do the resources on their own. Does that make sense? If they're completely in a flashback, then we're going to guide them to do grounding. And again, grounding is the only resource you're ever going to start with if they're having a flashback. Does that make sense? That's the only resource that's got any chance of working if they're really, really flooded. Yeah. Yeah, if you blinked more than I said to, that's fine. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah. You can make a playlist of pleasant scenes, short ones. You can put a whole bunch of playlists together. You can even mix playlists of beautiful things. Would throw in every other video, throw in a favorite music video of one of your favorite songs, and then be on a beach, and then be in a, restaurant, or be in your favorite song. So one of the things about YouTube is it's got tens of billions of videos that we can borrow from. Playlists are really easy to make, even with a free account. Yeah. If someone can't push away other memories, then we need to work where they can. Does that make sense? We need to at least start where they can, right? So if we're in a territory where other memories just want to come and we're just spending all of our time like doing this, that suggests that may be too loaded of a place to start. So we want the client to get really, really good at this. And then what you may find is that once a client's really, really good at microactivating, containing, they almost get into it's almost like a trance. It's almost like your body's doing it. It becomes a body movement. And then once you're able to do it, we find that other memories don't want to come with the same frequency. Yeah. So as we go, we just tell the client to shop vac if need to. Yeah. It was hard to do that when you're saying blink. Yeah, that's why if you're having distress, you get out of sync with me. Does that make sense? If in this group, if you're having distress, mute me if you have to, right? If I'm distracting you from grounding or I'm distracting you from vacuuming. Yes, some clients, when we're doing this, some clients will just go like this and then they'll vacuum and then they'll go, okay. And then we'll go right back in, right? So it doesn't have to be a whole production if your client knows how to deal, because overactivation is a problem. It's also inevitable. Do you know what I mean? It's a problem, but it's also inevitable. And if clients have in place good strategies to deal with it, then it's not a catastrophe. Excellent. Good. Really quickly, let's cover some content that we need to cover. In every training I do, I say if you want to get trained by Phil Manfield, who developed the original OG Flash, you can do that at flashtechnique.com. He offers trainings multiple times a year. They're pretty affordable. If you want to come to my consultations, they're in the back. There's a how to learn more page in the back of the treatment guide here. On page 29, there's a link to the free consultations that I provide twice a month. I'm also doing weekly flash practice groups for therapists. So you can come here. Everybody, at least half of y'all are thinking about making some changes in the new year. I think I am. I need to, you know what I mean? So come to a free practice group. It's like yoga for trauma. You know what I mean? I do this, I do a free group every week for therapists to practice Flash. So it's like free therapy. It isn't even going to cost you a copay on your crappy agency insurance. So come, come practice this. It's fun. Okay. And then we'll be in better shape. Therapists will be in better shape to help our clients. Questions? I also do 6-hour versions of this training. If you want to come to that one, the 6-hour training, you've only done the first half of it. The second half, we get into practice groups and practice it in individual, like replicating an individual therapy. Yeah. The weekly flash practice group is a processing group like you just did, but it's 70 minutes long and you don't have to come the whole time. And they're at all kinds of times of the day, but mostly in the evening because that's when I'm free. Eastern
And then
time.
is the twice monthly consult group different? Is that a
It
different
is.
day and time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. All of them are in one place. If you go to emdrcleveland.com, yes. If you go to emdrcleveland.com and scroll to the bottom, the flash stuff and the 6-hour flash is on that page as well. Okay. And if you have colleagues that want to be trained in EMDR therapy, David Archer and I, David Archer is a internationally known and anti-racist trauma therapist. We're doing online EMDR trainings for dirt cheap compared to that. Though it's not dirt cheap, but y'all know what I mean. For pretty affordable pricing. So send your colleagues our way. We'll train them well in EMDR therapy. Mhm. This is easy. This is also easy to overthink. And if you don't practice flash, you're not going to do it. If you're not doing flash, if you don't do at least one flash session in the next week, you're probably not going to do it. And this is something that can, I promise you, transform how you do therapy with your people for whom nothing works. And I'll work with you endlessly and for free until you're seeing them do some healing. I made that promise 4.5 years ago, and I've been sticking with my end of it. So I will work with you endlessly and for free until you see the people for whom nothing works start healing. It is recorded. I'm going to send an email to everybody that registered with the link to the recording. Okay. There's also lots of other on-demand versions, which are probably more comprehensive than this, which you can watch at any time for free. But if you really want to learn this well, find a colleague, get the script, and practice with them. Okay? And then if you want, come to the 6-hour flash training. You get to practice it with a therapist whom you're unlikely to hurt if it doesn't go well. Yeah. Awesome. All right, everybody, be in touch. Be in touch. Let me know. Let me know how I can help. Come back if you need to. There are videos on 4blinks.com, 6 videos of Flash that stick very close to the script. 4blinks, FOURBLINKS.com, 6 demos, including one with a baby that's got a cheek so big, it just cheeks the size of oranges. So check out the cute baby doing Flash with his mommy. Well, the mommy's doing Flash with the baby, I guess we should say. It's not a session on the baby, but yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.